Dr. Juan. Paging 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 Dr. Juan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to
What's up?
another episode of Revive America, episode 13. Dave Ferreira is clearly back.
I'm back.
He's back in the flesh.
Can't get
in
rid of me.
studio. Good to see you again.
Nice hat.
Damn, son.
Thank you. I like your hat, too.
We're
man.
twinning out here.
Yes.
This is actually my brother. We're related.
Yes.
If you couldn't tell by the resemblance.
If you go back far enough, you'll see the connection.
For real. It's
Adam and
probably-
Eve or something like that.
I was like, honestly, like I was really bummed to not be here last week, but I'm excited. We
had a good time
Yeah.
without you.
I was
You
like-
abandoned us.
I heard. Listen, I saw like the first 5 minutes. You was trying to throw me under the bus. Shout out to Jasmine for not allowing that. You're like, Dave's working. You're like, Dave left.
Yeah.
I was trying to get some of that Zelensky money.
No, you missed out on the
I know.
money, man.
But we got a great show for you guys. Again, before we get rolling, if you haven't followed us on Rumble,
You have to follow us on Rumble.
follow us on Rumble.
Follow us on Rumble. We got 8 people that's on there right now so far. Fantastic.
Ridiculous.
It's great.
Terrible. We need more.
Of course, it's coming.
All right.
It's coming. It's coming. Follow us on social media, guys. If you guys haven't checked out the website, revive-usa.com, you can get access to all of our social medias that are on there.
Beautiful.
Follow us, Instagram, Twitter. Tell your friends, family, everybody. And it's time to get real.
And we'll do it again. And shout out to everybody watching on Instagram from Billy's page
Yes,
and,
first
and
time,
from my
first time.
page watching Billy. You know, make sure you follow him. Some guy named Bill.
Follow him. Not your typical politician.
Not your topical. What am I? A cream?
Cream. Right
Not your topical politician. I'm all about that holistic medicine. You know what I mean? But we're gonna get into this show. We a lot of great stuff happening.
a lot
here.
of bad stuff, but
I mean, good to
great
talk
content,
about. Great
but,
content. So let's get going with the
yeah.
first story here. Speaking of China, I just had some amazing Chinese food. Well, Juan, what was the name of that place?
Golden Garden.
Golden Garden.
Shout
dude.
out to Gold Garden
Yo,
in
it's-
Broadway. I mean, on
I had
Madison Ave. in Patterson,
Steamed chicken and broccoli. It was out here.
feeding us since childhood.
But since we're on the topic of China, you guys remember a couple of weeks ago we talked about this spy balloon, right? And that was a conspiracy. It's not a spy
No,
balloon.
nothing crazy.
It's a weather experiment that got loose and blah, blah, blah. And you should just stop being a conspiracy theorist, Billy. Well, they're finding out now, right? And this is on NBC News, right? This is a left-leaning news organization that the Chinese spy balloon gathered intelligence from sensitive U.S. military sites
You don't say.
despite the U.S. efforts to block it
You don't
from telling us.
You don't say. You don't say. I'm not surprised at all, but that's something that I called from the very beginning. But I also was saying that the thing was coming from Canada. But I'm pretty sure that's where the Chinese
Well,
sent it from.
Canada let them
That's what I
launch
believe.
it. Yeah.
That's what I believe. But then you were telling me it was like, American contractors were
Well,
working
yeah.
on this apparently or something like that.
Right.
Well, I'm not surprised at all. Joe Biden, you've completely dropped the ball. Now they know where the nukes are. Now they know our F-15s and F-22s and Raptors. They know where they are. Thank you, Joe Biden. You should have shot it down when you had the opportunity.
Like the second
too
it was like off the coast,
Right.
anywhere near our border. Bang.
Exactly.
No, isn't there like a term? You were in the Air Force, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there a thing called like no fly zone? Isn't that like a term?
Yeah. But
Isn't
it's
that like terminology?
But truth be told, man, it's like as president, if you see something like that flying in your atmosphere, you're supposed to shoot that down immediately. Like you shouldn't even ask any questions.
They're like, just let
nobody
it-
knows because you're supposed to contact the FAA, contact the government, let them know you're about to fly within their airspace. If you don't do it, you shoot it down.
Right.
Why that sat up there for about a week before anybody did anything blows my mind.
It didn't. No. It didn't just sit up there. It went across the entire
Well,
country.
True that. That's true.
It
That's
wasn't
cool.
even like it was just hanging
They caught
there.
a
And they were
lot of
like,
data, man.
"We'll keep our eye on it, and if it does anything funny, like it literally just
Shoot it down.
surveilled the
That was
entire
so
country."
Dumb. That was so dumb.
So again, and I think this goes back because when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned, and I mentioned to Billy that they were finding American numerical contract numbers on this balloon, right?
Right.
It was a Chinese
Tell me
spy
about
balloon
that.
with American parts. Now, doesn't it start to like again? Everything in life that we try to give to you is about putting your own puzzle pieces together.
Right.
So America lied to us again about what this balloon was. After we found out that it might have American contractors on it and the Chinese spy balloon, don't you think it's all starting to make sense? They knew that shit was up there.
True. But then again, I will play devil's advocate and say this
Okay.
for a second, though. Just like there's American parts they find inside this balloon, right?
Right.
Now, there's Chinese parts inside of our phones.
Throw it out.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm
Throw
just
it
kidding.
out.
I'm just
You know what I mean?
kidding.
So
I'm
it's
just
like
kidding.
it could go either which way. But then again, I wouldn't doubt that our government has assisted in this to some degree. I wouldn't doubt that. But just playing devil's advocate here.
I just want to know why American government continues to lie to the American people.
because the American people are drinking the fluoride water. Next story.
Moving on. Stop drinking the fluoride water.
Speaking of fluoride.
Speaking of someone who drank too much fluoride water, CNN poll, right? These are his
CNN.
people.
CNN.
This is his people. CNN poll: 1/3 of Americans say Biden deserves to be reelected. So first of all,
That's insane to me.
again, it's a misleading article, right?
That's insane to
Because
me.
it's like 1/3 says Biden's due. Dude, 2/3 of Americans are
Says
basically like,
no.
get out
No,
of here.
No.
But so there's a good and a bad. The good thing is that, okay, majority of the people that voted for this guy are waking up.
Right.
The bad part is that, all right, I'm not a mathematician here, but if 80 million people voted for Joe Biden and a third of
That's
them,
your entire base. Gone.
but you're still saying that there's, 25 to 30 million people that think you deserve another term in this country?
I don't even think that number is that high. I think this is just CNN just propping him up to some degree. They're not trying to fully accept defeat. You know what I mean? Because I believe that it's probably about a quarter of the country even wants that guy back. Because I can't see any rational reason why anyone would want him back. He's not really pushing forward any groundbreaking legislation on behalf of the Democrats either.
Yeah, and and here's the thing: when Joe got elected, right? I knew a lot of Democrats that were like, "Listen, man, like I'm not a big fan of Joe either, but just look at it like this: like he's not going to do anything bad. Like he's just going to kind of like put the country in cruise control."
Yeah,
you
off a
but they
fucking
made
cliff.
it seem like like again because his campaign it was harmless Joe Biden. Like he's not going to do anything to screw up, right?
Right.
He'll basically be able to run this on autopilot, and that's been the exact opposite. This guy has literally put it in drive, 4-wheel low, and ran it straight into the divider on the highway.
And it's still going.
And a third of Americans are still applauding this weekend at Bernie's corpse, going, give him another 4 years. I don't want to give this guy 4 more weeks.
Right?
Oh my God! But look, at least even the woke mob is starting to have to realize that this is a sinking ship. Yeah, you got to start. You got to start laying your groundwork for backing whatever Democrat or progressive you want to run, because this ain't your guy in 2024, right? And even if he somehow wins, let's say, a nomination and wins somehow an election in 2024, people are not going to buy this. They're not going to buy it. The country is it's been too bad for anybody to believe this. So shout out to CNN for finally giving Biden some fair coverage.
A little bit of coverage.
Fair coverage.
I'm pretty sure it's less than a third. I'm pretty sure it's less than
probably an eighth of Americans that voted for
that.
him.
Sounds very
An
that sounds
eighth,
pretty-
right? So like,
Well, maybe not voted for him, but like
No.
still support him. I would say probably about like an eighth. Yeah.
Well, if you think his approval rating is almost 30%, right?
Right.
How could a third of Americans still think he deserves a second term? Like that number alone is wrong. You know what I mean? So he has a lower approval rating than the amount of people that want him to have a second term.
Well, I mean,
Well, see what happens.
So long as it's not Trump.
Yeah.
You know?
That guy's
Anybody
bad.
that votes like that in 2024, you deserve everything that's coming to you, man.
Well, it's like, you know what? Like what you said.
Well, maybe nothing bad, but like your pockets running dry and stuff like that.
But for the
Damn,
peop-
son.
But for
You
the people
deserve
that
that.
think that way, like take it back to what you were saying. I know you played the video last week at your council meeting. You're like, if you can't vote for me because I'm a Republican, do me a favor, don't vote against me.
Right, that's what I said.
I was like,
if you can't
damn.
vote for me because I'm a Republican, don't vote against me.
Stay home.
And you know the thing that was awesome about that, bro, is while I'm in there, I believe Patterson is on the verge of flipping. And if it doesn't flip a Republican, they're definitely going to completely wash out the existing Democrat Party, probably
Right.
some new age Democrats. Who knows? But the type of Democrats that I'm seeing inside the city that are coming up politically, and this is a little bit of a sidebar, just since you brought it up.
Do it.
But a lot of the politicians that I see coming up aren't necessarily, even if they're registered Democrats, right? Because there's people that I see right now that are running, that are registered Democrats, because they've always been registered Democrats, that are running more of a unaffiliate, middle of the road kind of campaign right now. And these are the type of people that the Democrat Party doesn't want. They're the me's of their party, right? Like, oh, yeah, this guy's a firecracker. We don't like. Now, granted, not all of them are great candidates. Some of them are pretty good. But there's a lot of talk of people wanting to just kind of throw a Molotov in the system and go in the opposite direction. And I said, if there was ever a time, and that's why I said
Do it now.
I'm listening in the crowd, and I'm listening to them saying, like, you know, everything that's going on with Andre Saya, he's completely dropped the ball. And I'm like, listen, man, this is stuff that I said last year, but this is good to hear that people in the crowd are starting to wake up to it.
Yes and no, because the same shit's happening. The same thing happened for me. Like I have people messaging me like, Dave, this is happening in the town. I was like, bro, I've told you this for 2 years.
I know.
You didn't listen.
I know.
And it's actually like y'all thought I was lying. But also, sidebar back to your sidebar.
Right.
What the hell
Sidebar back to
happened?
your sidebar.
What the hell happened at the council meeting the next time? Those two dudes were. I sent you a video.
Councilman Yaxong. That was actually before.
Yeah, he goes, come do it. He goes, Councilman Yaxong, sit down. It sounded like I was watching Kira Novela.
Councilman Mendez is saying a Councilman Yaxong. And you know what I really love about that, though, is Mike Jack. First off, let's backtrack for a second. Let's do another sidebar here. It's like
Sidebar to the sidebar to the sidebar.
Right. The thing that I think is really funny about this as well, too, is the whole freaking country is looking at Patterson, New Jersey right now because of that.
Yo, that's when you got to,
I'm not gonna lie,
Billy
that's
got to
good.
hop in like this.
Yo, Hey.
What up, though? Oh, I got the glasses.
But listen,
on
I
still.
told you guys the city's a madhouse. Good changes are coming. But basically what happened was this. The media blew it completely out of proportion. There was a gentleman in our city recently was killed. Najee Seabrooks, he was killed. And I believe one of the family members was in the crowd. And the finance administrator or finance officer that's inside that's for the city
Okay.
was like antagonizing the family, you know, kind of like, because while the family's up there pouring their heart out, you jerk offs, you did this, you know, look at this, you screwed up, which,
Right.
and rightfully so, you know, you're mad. I get it. You're over here, and these guys are all, you know, Andre Say's lapdogs. They're antagonizing the family, and Mike is like, yo, don't. Now, mind you, actually, I'm not going to say that story on air, but I will tell you this. But mind
Tune
you,
in next week.
mind you, Mike Jackson's a funny dude, man. But Mike was basically telling the administrator, like, yo, don't antagonize the family. That's disrespectful. That's wrong. And the guy was like, yeah, trying to be a tough guy or whatever, right? Then he stands up. The administrator, that's the part that you don't see in the video. But there's people inside the city of Patterson that have footage from the crowd or whatever that
Okay.
saw what exactly happened. That's not the full story. So he stood up first. The finance administrator stood up first and like basically, yeah, what are you going to do? What this guy needs to understand is Mike Jackson is a trained black belt. All right? Like, he's a legitimate trained black
Stop
belt.
sleeping on these council people, bro. Like, thinking that they just see
Yo,
in time.
yo.
He would have messed him up, huh?
Messed him up. He would have been out.
I would have paid money to see that.
Mike would have fucking threw him out the window.
So
probably.
I guess Patterson and East Brunswick have one thing in common. Their business administrator is an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he stood up and he tries to walk to
Uh.
Mike. Then Mike stands up and they're all Councilman Jackson. But mind you,
No, you got to say it like he said it.
well, it wasn't just him.
Councilman Jackson.
Councilman Jackson. Councilman Jackson. Hey, please, Mike. Hey, Councilman Jackson.
Dude,
Hey, I like Mendes. So that's kind of funny.
It was getting it, dude. That was perfect.
Councilman Jackson, please.
That's better than your Zelensky impression.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm on there, bro. I'm on the money. The Zelensky impression and
Oh,
Councilman
man.
Jackson.
All right.
But yeah, so that's basically what happened.
So shit's basically getting hot in Patterson,
in
bro.
fact, I would love to get Mike Jackson on the show one day.
Bro, is
You know,
he Republican?
You know what? He's Democrat, but he
All
voted
right.
for Trump.
That's okay.
He voted for Trump. He's conservative as fuck.
Councilman Mike Jackson, you have
I
an
like
open
him.
invitation to come here.
Mike Jackson. If you guys want to see Councilman Mike Jackson on the show,
drop a like,
drop a comment, share it, let
at
people know.
Councilman Mike Jackson.
Tag Mike Jackson. Let him know we want him on the show.
We want him on the show.
I can get him on the show.
Councilman
Let's give him a
Mike
call.
Mike
Let's
Jackson.
get on the show, man.
All right, moving on from the sidebar of
Yes.
the sidebar.
So back to the original story. Right?
Boom.
We sidebar
What
way
was
too
the
far.
original story?
I don't know. Well, next story.
Next slide.
Wait, before we start, man, I want to give a big shout out to everybody right now who is tuned in to the Revive America show.
Yo, I feel like that was like the intro to a game show.
It is,
It got
man.
me hyped,
Yeah,
bro.
I gotta keep
We
it
need
hyped,
like a
man.
spinning wheel.
Next topic.
You want a trip to Bermuda after you pay the taxes.
Exactly. If anybody, by the way, if anybody says
Oh.
anything interesting, just let us.
Yeah, if anybody comments anything. So obviously, for everyone who didn't live under a rock,
Right.
the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, was indicted this week in New York City on some felonious bullshit charges that the DA of New York upgraded from misdemeanor to felony to try to make some sort of political showcase out of, and that we have the photo. Yo, even still, bro, even in court facing 34 felonies and 150 years in prison, some shit like that.
Yo, first off, you know what? When I first saw this picture, people were like, "Oh, look at Trump. He looks so dejected." And I'm like, "No, that's not the face that I see. The face that I see is like, really? Like that's what it was? Like that? Like
Didn't
almost
he
as
end
if
up leaving with more money than he went in there
he
with?
probably, bro. He
Stormy
raised
Daniels
millions.
paid it. No,
Oh,
Stormy
that's
Daniels
right.
had to pay
She
him.
had to pay him back.
So you guys, they dragged this out for weeks. They adjourned court,
Nothing.
and then all of a sudden they were like, "We got him,
Bro,
We
it's,
got him."
It's like because look, for the people that don't know what's going on, and for the people that don't fully understand the story, this is what's happening, right? Or at least from what I've gathered, right?
Explain it."
You ran a business before. I ran a business before.
Yeah.
You don't run all the ins and outs of everything that's going in, right? You're not
No.
the guy doing the accounting. You hire someone for the accounting. You're not the one flipping the burger. Someone else is doing it, right? You get what I mean?
Unless you work at El Toro and then you do all that.
Well, shout out to El Toro for being
Actually, shout out to El Toro Loco. I left 2 months ago, and I told them fools that if I leave, they wouldn't last 2 months. And actually, a month and a half ago, I left the day after Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow.
This Friday, they closed their doors. Can we get it? I wish there was an applause button.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're closed. No, we're going to clap it up. Clap it up for running something good into the ground, you fucking clowns. I can't wait to sound clip that. But
that
if you
sucks.
think I don't know, I know. So
That's unfortunate. El Toro.
that was my sidebar to the sidebar.
Thank you for that.
Go fuck yourself. Thank you. I know you watch. They watch all my stories, bro. They hate me, but you watch all my Instagram stories.
What the hell was I saying now?
Trump, the story, running his own business.
Right. So So if you're running a business, you don't know all the ins and outs of what's going on. It's all compartmentalized. You know what I'm saying? So this is the way I think it went down.
Yeah.
I think it went down like, okay, Stormy Daniels, absolutely irrelevant. She hit the wall. No one wants to marry this chick. She's trying to find a way to stay relevant.
Old porn star.
Right? He's like, I made terrible decisions in the past. Like, you know what I mean?
Daddy
like,
issues.
Over.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Right. All that.
Yeah.
So now she's like, well, what can I do to get a come up, right? Donald Trump.
He got
Hey,
money.
Right. We had sex. Let me just talk about it. It's not like he did anything. It's not like Trump choked her by the neck or anything like that. She's like, I had sex with Trump, and you're just going around causing a bunch of a bunch of trouble. Now imagine you're running a campaign, you're trying to do all this stuff. You're happily married with your wife now because this was clearly some time ago.
Right.
You're clearly happy with your wife, and here we go. This freaking.
So you go, here's some money. Shut up. Stop
I don't even
telling
think it was
people.
Trump that did it, bro. Because the 34 counts that are against Trump. So this is important for everybody to understand. The 34 counts that are against Donald Trump, those are for 34 payments to Michael Cohen, his lawyer, right? Now, mind you, it was his lawyer that made the payment to Stormy Daniels. Trump paid it back. What they're alleging is that those 34 payments constitute 34 different individual illegal uses of campaign funds. And Trump was using his campaign funds to pay for his lawyer.
Which is on retainer.
Correct. And what I think happened is if I'm a lawyer, you've dealt with cases all over this. Like, this is not his first rodeo dealing with some psycho chick, right? I could probably pay this thought. Like, she's a nobody. Let me give it $100. You know what I'm saying? Trump's got to pay the bills anyway. He's going to pay the bills. He pays the bills. I get paid, and it kind of washes itself over. And at the end of the day, I'm still his fucking lawyer. He still has to pay me. So those payments come off as regular payments. They're saying this is 34 violations of campaign violations. So now, if he used if the lawyer used his own money to go out there and do that, and then Trump pays him back, that's not the same thing. He's paying for a service, right?
Right.
It would be like if I hire a marketing company, I pay them a fee, right? And with that money, they go out and do whatever the hell needs to be done, or with whatever money they had in their coffers. It's the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do to this man right now. So I think he's looking at the camera like, you guys are dumb. Like, you
This
really
is
thought
it.
this was it? Like,
I mean,
he
like,
probably thought it was going to be worse, honestly.
for the people that really wanted to see Trump burn,
Yeah.
like, aren't you guys getting tired of like being built up with this anxiety
They're
of
going
like
to find something.
this is it, right? Like, I mean, in 2016, you had the Russian collusion, and then you had the Steele dossier, which was funded by Hillary Clinton, and then you had, all these other things that were happening, right? Everything. You had the fraud, you have this, you have all this stuff that's happening, and this guy, you haven't been able to stick a single thing to this guy.
Right.
He's like cooking eggs in a Teflon pan. That's why they call him the
Teflon
Teflon Don.
Teflon
Nothing
Don.
sticks to this guy.
Nothing on my skin at all.
And again, right, look, if he did something bad, I'm not here to advocate like for,
Right, right.
excusing him because I like the guy, but he didn't.
Right.
And it's a witch hunt because they know, as the slide we just read, 1/3, and that's a high estimation, of the voters actually think Biden deserves a second term. And then here you go with a guy that you've tried to get for the last 7 years and you haven't gotten anything on him.
Shame.
What do we have next? Because I think we're still rolling with
We're
this.
the story, yeah.
Right?
That's right.
So then we switch over, right? CNN, they were painting it for a week. They're like, Trump's going down, right? The Looney Tunes were out there, bro. The funniest thing is there was more media people than Trump supporters,
Right?
Because and there was a guy. I want to say shout out to this guy, and not in a good way, but he was like, "This is the ultra mega MAGA that are out here supporting Trump." Like, first of all, no disrespect, Trump doesn't give a shit that you are outside of his court hearing, right? He appreciates it, I'm sure, but he does not give a shit. And it was like a Tuesday morning. Like, we got work. Like, people have jobs and bills to pay, and I don't know what the point of you going outside of his indictment was. But anyway, there was tons of media there to try to cover this, and now they turn around with a story and they say Donald Trump's indictment changes the 2024 race, ... but not the way you think. Now, if you read the article a little bit more, right, everybody thought, because again, the Stormy Daniels, the dossier, the collusion, the phone call with Ukraine, perfectly good phone call, everything.
Totally legitimate.
Yeah, it was all supposed to defame this man to the point where everybody was going to abandon him.
Right.
It actually has backfired in a monumental way. Trump raised something like $10 to $12 million in the first 48 hours of his indictment. also, not only did he, before the indictment, have a marginal lead over Ron DeSantis, but now it's almost at a point where I don't even think Ron DeSantis should declare his candidacy.
There's no point.
I think at this point, Ron, if I was Ron DeSantis, I'd be like, I could do it, but like I think it'd be better just to say, you know what, I support Trump. I'm going to run Florida, and we'll see where we're at in 2028.
I think he should. I don't think he will.
So it
though.
backfired because now Trump supporters have come out, and what they're saying in this article is that the people who were leaning to vote for Ron DeSantis, the people that were leaning, going, maybe Trump's time's over, maybe let's go back to DeSantis, they see something like this.
Hang on for a second. I just got to pause. Juan, if you could pull this up, please do, because it just, as I'm pulling up my phone, just breaking news just came through, and it says that Tennessee House votes to expel Democrat Representative Justin Jones after leading an insurrection of radical anti-gun leftists at the Capitol. And last week, I believe I was talking about that because it was a group that was financing. I'm correct. There was a Democrat that went to the Tennessee state houses and was over there acting a fool with them, and apparently they just voted this person out.
Yeah. I
Fantastic.
saw that on the way here.
Is this the article about Tennessee House expels second Democratic lawmaker?
Second?
Wait, I didn't even know there was one. Whoa, pull that up.
Pull it up real quick.
Pull that up.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it because we have a lot of talking to do.
So can we scroll down and see what the article says
Tennessee
for a little
House
bit?
expels
Yes, sir.
second Democrat lawmaker after falling short of ousting another. Wait, what? Okay.
Oh, so that means there was going to be 3 of them that were out. Okay, so Tennessee Republican-controlled House of Representatives has voted to expel Justin Peterson a week after he and 2 other Democrats led a gun reform protest on the House floor.
On the House floor?
On the House floor.
On the House floor.
Ask the QAnon shaman, that shit's off limits.
Q Shaman, you will be free soon.
He is free.
Oh, yeah, that's
He's
right.
home.
That's right.
He's out.
Lunatic.
So-
But you did nothing wrong.
So protesters flooded the state capitol on Thursday as legislators were set to take up 3 resolutions filled by GOP lawmakers. Blah, 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 blah. The crowd erupted in boos. Chants followed. And then there comes a time where people get sick and tired of being sick and tired, Jones said in the speech. So basically this guy led people into the chamber
Is
to
this the guy
disrupt. I guess that's him. He looks radical.
Well, he's holding the radical fist. I'm pretty sure he's damn radical.
So, all right. Well, it's good to know that there is equal and fair justice, right? It's not just
we can't really call it fair justice at this point. I mean, at the end of the day, look, it's Tennessee, pretty red. Not surprised.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bunch of Republicans, get that son bitch out. I don't believe. I don't doubt that wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? So,
Well, the same thing goes to D.C., right? Bunch of Republicans like, lock them out, Democrats. All right, let's go back to where our regularly scheduled programming here. So now Trump has this marginal lead. DeSantis is fading in the numbers. He's making a whole bunch of money. And what they were saying in the article was that all these people that were maybe leaning to DeSantis are kind of like, Trump has taken so many bullets for us, for the American people. Trump has stood in front of so much. We can't abandon this guy right now.
Yeah.
So this entire indictment backfired. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think I think the indictment backfired for the Democrats. I don't think it backfired for
No,
Donald
yeah, I
Trump.
agree. I agree.
think Trump is probably like, because another thing that I find funny about that is, from what I'm hearing, his next court hearing date is going to be around the time of the primaries in 2024. If that's the case,
Perfect time to raise money.
right? Donate. They're coming for my neck. They're coming for my neck.
Yeah.
I need your support.
Yeah.
Like no other.
Well, we'll keep you into tune on that, but I don't think this is going anywhere. I think this is just a farce. No. It's a witch hunt. And frankly, and I spoke to some Democrats about this. The Democrats are getting sick of this shit too.
Right.
Like, honestly, if you're going to get this guy, like, make sure it's legit. Make sure you really have something to go off of, and then do it. But, like, continuing to try to drag this guy, right? Like, look, I told you I saw Candace Owens speak a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And Candace Owens was right when Trump was coming down the escalator. At the time, Candace Owens was a Democrat, right? And Candace Owens said this, and it was kind of impactful. She goes, I did not like Trump. She goes, if you had just come out and told me he's a businessman and he doesn't know what he's doing in the presidential office, don't vote for him.
Right.
I probably would have been like, okay, I'll vote for Hillary because, I'm a Democrat. She came from a family of Democrats. But you continue to be like, he's racist, he's misogynistic, he hates this, he hates that, he does this, he worked with Russia, he bribed Ukraine, he now did this. People are starting to go, this has nothing to do with the guy that does the job and the fact that you hate him, because we're starting to realize both Democrat and the Republicans, these elite majority,
Right.
are in it together. And Trump hates them all. And they hate him because he doesn't need their money. He doesn't need their support. He's got 80-something million Americans that voted for the guy twice.
Right.
Most likely a third time. And that's really all it comes down to. So I really think if the Democrats were smart, you would just try to work on, and again, Democrats do this all over. Pasquarello did it to you.
Yep.
The mayor and the council did it to me. It wasn't why you should vote for me.
It's part of the strategy.
Because, look, if you disappeared, if Joe Biden just ran against himself, right? Run on your record, Joe. What the hell is the man going to say?
Racism.
But I'm saying if you're like, this is why you should elect me, what the hell could he say? What could he say that's okay, yeah. But I think the Democrat Party really needs to focus more on getting you to vote for them for what they can do for you and stop trying to tell you why you shouldn't vote for the Republican because of fear-based emotions.
But that's how they lead them, with the emotion, unfortunately.
Wake up.
Unfortunately. Because, look, from what I've gathered, or at least I don't know if you see this parallel, there's two different types of, I guess, mindsets and types of society. There's like the fight or flight kind of mindset. There's the people that are typically more logical. That doesn't mean that other people are stupid.
Yeah.
But people that are typically more logical, and a lot more people that are more emotion-based or led by their emotions.
Yeah.
From what I've gathered, or from what I've seen and experienced, conservatives tend to lean a lot more on the logic side, while Democrats tend to lean more on the emotion side. They're very manipulated by just emotion-based arguments, but emotion-based arguments, they're not really grounded in fact for the most part. So.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
You have the right to cut your child's genitals off and turn it into something they're not.
Solid.
Yeah.
Moving on.
It feels right.
What do we got next? Oh, go ahead.
The U.S. faces simultaneous showdowns with China and Russia. Fighting one Cold War was bad enough. Waging two at once would be impossible. 2 years into Joe Biden's presidency, the United States now faces simultaneous diplomatic and national security crises with its 20th century superpower rival Moscow and its 21st century adversary China. The United States has completely dropped the ball. The thing that's bugging me out as well, too, is thankfully India does not have beef with us right now, because I don't know if you've been paying attention, but their military is getting extremely, extremely strong.
Well, India got tons of people.
That's what I'm saying. They're basically the good guy
Yeah.
China. you know?
I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff going on right now with Russia and China, and I know you guys talked about it last week.
Yeah.
And if you didn't tune in last week, Russia and China are now deciding to use the how do you pronounce it?
BRICS.
Is that their money? I thought it was
BRICS.
called Gwen or Yen or
The
some shit.
yuan. Oh,
I
you're
don't
talking about the trade that was done.
Yeah.
Last week we were talking about how France did their first transaction with the yuan.
Oh. Well, they're basically moving away from the U.S. dollar. They become basically
Exactly.
two superpowers have now become one Super Saiyan power. Because I still think we could take China and Russia, but not under this current leadership.
And not just. You know, it's funny. At any other point in history, I would say we would, but for the first time, I would say that we probably would not be able to right now, because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things currently right now that are working against the United States. If we do go to war, for example, right? Let's say the United States does go to war. The first thing is, I believe that we're gonna end up facing a crisis with food and water before something like that ever
I
happens.
mean, like we kind of already are.
Exactly. But I think it's going to get worse, because not only will it be exasperated, a lot of the effort would be focused on the war effort, which means more money will be extracted outside of the United States to focus on the war effort. You're fighting on two separate fronts. On top of that, the United States doesn't have access to a lot of natural resources, so typically we import most of that stuff. We have a lot of natural gas. Are we drilling it? No, because we fucking stopped it. And it's going to take some time before we get that stuff going again, so we still need to import. So if they can keep us in the war for at least a year or two, in these current conditions, our country will go kaput. I don't think we'll be able to sustain it that long.
So what? Again, I don't think it will matter. But let's just say you had President Biden's ear. What
Yeah.
would you tell him to do right now?
Damn, son.
I would tell him to resign.
Okay, obviously I would do the same thing. But I'm saying, as far as this conflict, like how do we ease these tensions between
gonna-
Russia and
there's-
China?
resign, because there's no way he's going to be. I'll tell you why. There's no way. It would be like this, right? The only way he's getting out of us is to kill us all in a war, because it's like that scenario when you're a little kid and you're getting bullied all the time, right? You're getting bullied all the time until you eventually end up fighting back.
Yep.
The problem now is Biden fights back. We're going to war. and you don't have the capacity to fight back. You don't even know what the hell's going on. You're compromised. They know you're compromised. They got you by the balls. They're gonna pull you, and if you don't, they'll pull the whole house of cards down with him on it. The problem is he is the weakest link within the United States government. He's the problem. You're compromised. Your son is compromised. You've taken bribes. You've got a paper trail. They're looking to probe you right now. There's at least 2 different DAs that are looking to probe the Joe Biden administration, especially after what they just did to Donald Trump. So they did that to Trump. They've basically weaponized our legal system. They're going to end up doing the exact same thing to Democrats and Joe Biden. So he has to go. There's no possible way we're going to be able to win a war. It's going to have to be someone. First off, the only way we're going to get off this cliff right now is we have. And I think this is the best case for Trump. So this is actually a very good question. I think it's the best case for Trump. The only way we're getting out of this situation is we need an expert negotiator to get us out of this situation. There's no other way, because you have an economic problem now where one, the entire world is moving away from you. You have no leverage whatsoever right now at all. And both of these guys, if they team up together, they have the capacity to really drain your pockets and wreck a lot of your infrastructure, which we can't afford to deal with in the event of a war. So you have to negotiate your way out of this scenario. That's the only way. Trump, thankfully, already has a good relationship with Putin, and I'm pretty sure they can resolve something with the Ukraine probably over fucking night, probably by the end of the week. China, probably not so much, but if he can get Russia to back away from China as much as possible and work with the United States even more so, he has a shot of trying to ease that kind of conflict. That's all we have right now in terms of that war. Someone has to negotiate us out of that, because no amount of bombs or weapons are going to be able to get us out of it. And even if we do that, it's mutually assured destruction, especially more destruction for us because they've got the leverage.
You heard it here. Well, moving on. I don't think I don't think Joe Biden is the answer, and I don't think we're going to see an end to this conflict. In fact, it makes me very upset because I think things are only going to get worse. And I've been telling people for years, like, to start preparing yourself. And I'm not like a doomsday prepper or anything like that, but like, do you have a plan? Right? Like, look what happened during COVID.
Yeah.
People literally ran to the store to buy toilet paper. Like, you're not prepared. You're not prepared for an economic collapse. You're not prepared for war. You're not prepared for any of this. You guys weren't prepared for the fucking flu. You know what I mean? People lost their minds because of the flu. Right? And again, at the time, we didn't know it was flu. Yeah, but you allowed the media to inflate that to you.
Right.
Right? We knew that. I saw something today. They were like, the new science that came out this week was the shit that me and you were getting banned for 3 years ago.
Bro, speaking of that, by the way, on episode 9, where we talked about January 6th.
When we got banned on YouTube?
Yeah, that video got banned on YouTube, and I appealed it because they said that we were talking about COVID misinformation on that episode.
Were we?
We were talking about hydroxychloroquine. I don't think I've ever mentioned hydroxychloroquine that entire episode.
I don't think so.
Even if I did, well, for one, now we know this episode's getting banned.
You just said the magic word.
Oh, no.
I feel like it's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Everyone jumps up. Oh, he said the word. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, screw them.
That's
a good question.
This is a good question. I saw this today, and as you can see, me and Billy both have our Save America hats on. I wore this today to the gym, and a woman I know, she came up to me, and she was like, oh. I was like, hey. She's like, People don't give you shit for that? And I was like, first of all, I'm 6'2", covered in tattoos, and I have a beard.
Not happening.
It's not happening, number one. And I'm not a violent guy, but I just appear scary. You know,
that guy's going to fight me back.
Yeah. And number two, if you have a problem with this, with Save America being on my hat, then I already know there's no point of having a conversation.
It's not the hat.
With you.
It's the person behind
right.
the hat.
So I wanted to ask this question because I felt like we are in a very unique situation here, and we talked about this earlier. Obviously, I'm Latino, but I identify as white because I look white, you know?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm Latino when I need financial aid, and I'm white when I get pulled over. You know?
Damn, son.
Listen, it works, right? What seems to be the problem, officer? And then, like, I need the financial aid. Dinero, por favor. Anyway, so, but I felt as a young black American who grew up in a predominantly black city, who is currently wearing a MAGA hat, I wanted to ask you, what does make America great? Because I know what it means for me, but it doesn't matter, right? Because I'm a white male, and if I say, so like, you just want racism and you hate black people, so I'm like, okay, bet. Here's my friend Billy, who happens to be a black male in Patterson.
Oh, that's something a racist would say. That's something a racist would say.
That's like
we're like that.
We're that Joyner Lucas video right now. I'm not racist.
But
Anyway,
if I was,
no. But I really wanted to ask you because there's probably a bunch of people out there that think you're just, a Kool-Aid, like you're drinking the Kool-Aid of the Republican Party here.
What it means to me is this, right?
So what does MAGA mean to Billy Prempo?
So make America great again, right? When people say, "Oh, there was never a time where America was great," there was a time, or even if we, there was a time. There was a time where America was great, honestly, and the time where I see it as great is when I was alive, when I was a kid, when I was growing up. You experienced the exact same thing, man. I did not see skin color. In fact, a lot of people did not see skin color. 2001, 9/11 was the worst and probably one of the best days in the United States. At that day, no one gave a shit what you look like. Are you American and are you on our team? That's the only thing that mattered. I've always saw our country as unified and connected. After that day, as time passed, Patriot Act started to get implemented, and the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, started to get pushed in, and all these erosions of our rights started to happen. We no longer started to recognize our country. Then a lot of Marxist propaganda started to come in and tear people apart. Our country, in such a short period of time, has made tremendous advancements in regards to race relations. Well, it looks bad now, but then again, the media's hyping this up like nonstop.
Yep.
Right? I want to see America prosperous, man. That's the reason why my parents came here. When I was growing up, it was that. And the saddest part is the generation today. I'm going to get on my horse for a second because I think this is pretty important.
That's why I put it in there. I wanted you to have this opportunity.
Our generation, the millennial generation, we are the final.
Tell them.
Yes, I'm gonna tell the
Tell
camera.
them.
The millennial generation, our generation, we are the final American generation, the last. We are the ones that saw the old world, and we are the ones that are a part of the new world. We saw that transition, and we see the direction that our country's going in. But many people have been deeply indoctrinated, not just by the education system, the crap that we put in our bodies and the things that we eat, the bullshit we listen to, our fake celebrities and all the crap that kind of surrounds it. All that stuff, we see it, and we get dejected to the point that we say things like, we don't want to vote. I'm not going to get involved in politics. What's the point? It's all a scam. But the truth is, that's exactly what they want. They don't want us to get up and fight. They don't want us to get up and do anything back. Our parents, the boomer generation, they can't save us. They can't get us out of this mess. They can't resolve it. And sadly, they're going to pass away pretty soon. We have the ball now, okay? The more we sit here and we say, we don't care about this, we don't care about that, I just care about me, I'm going to do me, I'm going to just make money and travel the world, and I'm going to be a YouTuber. Not everybody's got to be a YouTuber, okay? The whole entire world is laughing at our country right now. And if we don't take care and put our country back on the right track, the next generation that's after us, Generation Z, and those children after that, they're growing up on TikTok. There's 12-year-old kids vaping right now, doing all kinds of stuff, twerking on couches, all this nonsense. On the other side of the world, the Chinese, they're raising the next generation of military-aged fighters, okay? While our children are learning about drag queens and all this other bullshit that doesn't matter, they're teaching them how to take what is yours and what our parents and every generation prior to us worked for. They're going to pillage our country, and there's nothing any of us can do about it until we actually stand up and realize that the ball's in our court. It is in our court, and I think that's what makes America great, is the fact that we have the opportunity. Every single time the ball was on the opposite team and America was down and out and we were supposed to perish, the concept of America, people from all around the world, different religions, different beliefs, all of that coming together and existing for almost 300 years, this concept is not supposed to work, but it worked. And every single time we have our backs against the wall and we're falling behind, we somehow find a way to pick it back up. But that's only after everyone in the country comes together. Once we become unified and we start doing things together, we can take our country to the next level. Right now, we're divided because of all this shit that's on the television. They want every single American divided. They want gay. They want straight. They want bi. It's not even LGBT anymore. It's LGBTQ all the way up to fucking infinity, right? It's not about there's people that I know that grew up during Jim Crow, during some of the worst parts of our country, that didn't experience the type of crap that people are experiencing today. And they're like, listen, even when I was growing up back during the Jim Crow South, racism, all that kind of stuff, we were able to thrive. We were able to still grow. We were still able to do what needed to be done. This generation, we're coddled, right? Like you said the week before that about strong men creating good times create weak men create hard times, and the cycle repeats all over again, right? We're at that exact same spot right now.
Well, it seems like we're the last generation of strong men.
We are. That's
That's
exactly what
insane.
I'm saying. And we're on the verge of quitting
Yeah.
and not caring.
Yeah.
We get drunk all fucking week. I'm like, can't do it anymore. Like, what's the point? They're going to decide for us anyway. What's the point is you're about 30 years old. You're nowhere near dead. Your whole life is ahead of you. And if you do not fight now, mark my words, you're fucked. Okay? Because the same people that started our country, they were in the same exact age bracket. And if we want to
Younger.
younger, they were like
even.
in their 20s,
Yeah.
right? These people were young.
Yeah.
And they created an experiment that should have never existed, but it lasted over 300 plus years, and it's only going to get better if our generation decides to get our head out of our asses.
That was, dude, that was great. Damn, son.
Damn, son.
No, that was, and I wanted you to have that opportunity because, again, I feel like, look, this hat has been in my room and I don't wear it because, you get targeted, right? And I get it.
I wish a motherfucker would.
Again, you're 6'3" black dude from Patterson
wish
with
a
dreads.
motherfucker would.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with you even if you didn't have the bag of hat on, but definitely not with it on.
I wish you would.
But I think that's important because look, I agree with a lot of the things that you're saying, and I agree. And obviously, a mutual friend of ours, Darius, loves to say that he is from the freest generation ever.
This is true.
And it's true, and we forget that, right? Again, I grew up in Queens. I went to school with black kids, with Chinese kids, with Jewish kids, Indian kids, like even in East Brunswick. A diverse population. I love that. I don't ever when I ever say either "Make America Great Again" or any of that stuff. It's never been about I want America to be white, right?
No.
That's
No.
stupid. First of all, I hate white people. We suck. White people, they got no culture, no cuisine. Everything it's just anyway. But I want it to be back to that where we stopped focusing on what makes us different and build on the things that make us stronger together because our differences should be our strongest point, right? America is great because of the fact that we have so many different people. America is great because we come from so many different backgrounds. America is great because a black man and a white man can sit down together and we can have conversations about similar ideas and interests, and we grew up from completely two different backgrounds, but yet somehow became friends and we're still on, we're on the same fucking page. You know what I mean? Like, that is what makes America great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when we talk about making it great again, and I'll take it one step deeper, all of that is one thing, but we need to get back to the part where Americans had freedom over their own lives, where Americans had control over their own lives, where Americans weren't pushed into fear-based decisions, where they weren't told to do certain things, when people had opportunities. Right now, here's what happened. Over the last 10 years, people started to realize that you didn't need to work a 9-to-5 corporate job, and you could be an entrepreneur. You could live your American dream. That kind of faded, right? Because
That's what they want.
after Henry Ford created the 40-hour work week and everybody was in there and the industrialization of America and everybody got these 9-to-5 union jobs, and that was great. I'm not here to hate on you if you worked in the union or anything like that. But America was based on people coming here and living out their dreams and having their opportunity. And right now, it seems like the only way that you could get free is to become some sort of TikTok star or become some sort of influencer. And that's even gone. They took it from you because now for $14 a month, you can pay to be a verified page.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
You know what I mean? Like, growing up, I was like, damn, bro, I would do anything for a blue. And you know what? I submitted it before, literally a month ago. I was like, submit to be a blue check. I sent a picture of my passport.
Yeah,
and
they
were
want
like,
everything.
they're like, nah, that's not you. I'm like, it's not me. It's a government document. But they want you to pay. Right? So even being authentic, even being an influencer is something you can buy. Yeah. They're trying to kill that. So when I refer to that, making America great again, it's the government getting the fuck out of your life, giving people the opportunities that they were born to have here in this country. Migrate here, immigrate here the right way. Join us. Be a part of this dream. Help us grow. Help us prosper. Look, I'm not here to shit on anyone's feelings or their ideals about what they want to do with their lives, but that's not what runs the world.
Right.
Okay? Common sense and strong-willed people are what run the world. It's not about, you hurt my feelings. Like, that doesn't matter. You think China gives a shit what bathroom you use? Do you
Well,
think?
first off, China would never even allow that bullshit to begin with.
Correct, but do you think that they're over here like if we attack America, like you think that if Russia rolled up onto the East Coast right now and they went to throw hands and you're like I'm a trans woman, you don't think that
That's not
commie
happening.
would rock your face?
He's like even more.
He
of a
would
reason to be
sleep you.
cool.
Good night, das vidanya, bitches. You know what I mean?
Sweet dreams, my
So like
friend.
we really need to get back to a balance of yes, feelings and common sense. And right now the scale has been completely tipped. And that's what for me, that's what make America great again is I want everybody here. Black, white, Chinese, gay, straight, I don't care. To come here and prosper and be a part of America together. Stop burning the flag because you're upset. Stop trying to hate on the dream because you didn't make it where you wanted to be, and just keep working. You know, I'm literally the definition my entire life. I'm 32 years old, bro. I've been in and out of the system, in drug rehabilitation facilities. I've been homeless. I've slept in my car. I've had zero money. I've had no friends. I've been left for fucking dead. And I climbed my way to the top. I opened a business. I started working in a recovery center. I became an owner of a company. I ran for fucking public office. If that's not what the American dream
Come on,
is,
man.
I don't know what is. You couldn't do that in any other country.
Yeah.
So for the people that want to complain, say America is a horrible place, it's your fucking perception. Your perception will have you believe that America is a horrible place. I love this country. I'll die on that fucking hill
Absolutely.
all day. All day.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
America.
That's what we're talking about.
America.
Damn,
Moving
son.
on. Now I'm hyped. It's hot in here.
America. It is
Hot
getting
in here.
It is getting hot.
Let's go.
It's that fury, baby.
This makes me mad.
But now this is the sad part here.
Here's the true reality that we're fighting against.
Right.
Go ahead,
And this is
Billy.
why I say it's important for millennials to start picking it up right now. Is the U.S. dollar losing its status as the king of currencies? And the truth is, the United States is losing its value right now. As the as the BRICS nations are starting to unify, people are dumping the dollar left, right, and center. And did you hear what my analysis was? Or I'm not sure if I said it on this show or if I said it on another show on what I think would be the only way to get us out of this BRICS.
To make Bitcoin the dollar.
Yes, that's right. I
Yeah.
think that's the only way at this point because
I think that article did mention that.
it did it really?
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yep.
You see, because I can't think of any other way. The United States needs to own the lion's share of that. If China decides, hey, you know what, we're gonna unban Bitcoin and we're gonna start buying a whole bunch of that, then America's screwed.
Well,
I don't see
I
China
just want to
doing
give a
that,
little
though.
bit of context to this because I know last week you and Jasmine spoke about how Brazil, China, and Russia
BRICS.
started to make their deal.
Yep.
But since then, you now have Iran, Japan, and India have now joined in on making trades using another currency outside of the U.S. dollar. Now, we were talking about this a little earlier, right? Like, you ever watch the movie Team America?
100%. That's where
If
I
you've
got
never
my
watched
from.
Team America and you've got 50 minutes that you'll never get back in your life, go watch
It's
it.
worth it. It's pretty funny.
It's hilarious. But
They turn right on Bakalaka Lava Street.
but that movie's great. Shout out. But America has always been we need to save everybody and we need to interject. And like they
Right.
show up to Paris to fight the terrorists and they blew up the Eiffel Tower and they're like, you're safe now. And everyone's looking around like,
what have you
oh my
done?
God, what have you done? But that's what America has done. And we like to pretend that we're the peacekeepers, but America, as far as foreign affairs goes, has been a bully in a lot of regards.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said a couple minutes ago, America is starting to lose that leverage. Right now, what happens when, and I'm going to let you answer this, what happens when more countries, and these are not small, Brazil
Right.
is a huge country,
Right.
China, Russia, India, like that, those 5 countries alone probably make up well over 40% of the world population. They're huge.
Right.
What happens when a couple more big countries decide they don't need the U.S. dollar anymore?
You see, now that's another problem. The only and this is another scenario where it's going to require an unbelievable expert negotiator to get them out of this. But
we don't have that right now.
I got it.
We got 2 more years of Biden.
I got it, and that's what I'm saying. It's like there's nothing that could actually be done as of right now because it's like, look, every single one of those people that you mentioned, except for the current Brazilian president, because the current Brazilian president is that criminal guy that got out or whatever. But all of these people that are part of the BRICS nations, for example, they all had pretty good relationships with President Trump. I don't think this conversation would have gotten to the point that it's
It
at
would have
right
never
now.
happened. It wouldn't even have been a thought.
There were thoughts of it. There were thoughts of it, but no one really actually did anything with it. You know, as soon as Biden starts to get in and starts making it like, yeah, you know what? Fuck these people. Like, you know, what's Biden's going to stop me? No. Trump would have said, you pull that trigger, I'll do you like Saddam.
I mean, he straight up told the president of North Korea that he had a bigger nuclear button.
I
you
know,
don't want to
bro.
play.
I was like, yo, that
on
guy is-
Twitter.
right. He's like,
On
yo,
Twitter.
we haven't even built. And that's another thing you got to think about, bro. It's like,
was so
it's like,
gangster.
yo, we didn't even build the infrastructure that we were gonna build to take you over, and you're gonna blow us up. No, let's be cool. Let's be cool. I'd rather be friends with that guy. That guy. You said that's North Korea. That guy's a lunatic, and you're gonna say that to me, a civilized nation. You know what I mean? That's a
Yeah.
big threat right there. You know, I don't think that would have ever gotten to that point. You know, I think there would have. Joe Biden, you fucking suck, man.
Well,
He's a pushover.
I just want to piggyback on that because 2 weeks ago you talked about how a lot of people believe that the dollar is only backed by gold. I even was one of those people for a
You're
long
right.
time. But it is majorly also backed by oil.
Correct.
And if you have
Well, that's what it's not even necessarily that it's backed by oil. At the time, well, now things are changing. Unfortunately, with OPEC, you can only buy and sell oil with the dollar, and that's what propped it up.
right, so you have all these major countries now that are going to say, you know, we don't really need the U.S. the way we think we do, right? I mean, NATO's basically useless. Nobody's afraid of them.
No.
You have these countries now deciding they're going to do their own thing. Now, here we are, $36 trillion in debt. Here we are on the verge of war with Russia and China. Here we are with a socio-economic collapse amongst ourselves between the class systems here in America. And we talked about this earlier, right? In 2016, it was the black versus the white. Right? Remember, it was the black people and white people that can't get along. It was MAGA versus BLM, and it didn't work. It worked for a little. They burned some cities, and it went away. And now it's every other system, every other class in America, right? Whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're Christian, whether you're Jewish, whatever it is, let's all get them to fight each other. And while no one's paying attention because we're all concerned about all this other bullshit that doesn't really matter, this is what really matters. Because what happens, right, when the dollar becomes worth nothing? What happens? Because that's not a conspiracy theory. That's a realistic possibility.
If the dollar becomes,
That the economy completely crashes.
This is what I think would happen. And that's in the event that the United States has no contingency plan in place, which at this point I don't think they do. If the dollar collapses,
Dude, I'm thinking apocalypse level shit.
It could be bad because my concern is not even so much with what happens after, because people are obviously going to riot, flip cars. Oh my God, it's crazy. End of the world. It's the purge, right? And everybody's preconditioned to go and do that because they're fucking dumb sheep that are easy to be manipulated by the media. But my biggest concern is who comes to the country after that, right? Because listen, if I see the entire United States is up in arms and they're losing their shit and their economy is completely collapsed, but we're propped up on gold, fuck America. I'm invading that country right now. Even if they do go to war, how long before they run out of oil? You can't fucking fight a war without oil. You just shut down your oil plants. You're buying it from me. And all these guys are bricks. Fuck you. We're taking your country. Oh, your water's poisoned because you got train derailments? Your factories are burned down? You got nowhere to plant your food? Fuck you. You need to buy
China
food from us.
also owns a ginormous percentage of agricultural
Exactly.
land.
Exactly.
Bill Gates owns the other percentage of it.
Exactly.
So again, this is what goes back to telling people to wake up, right? These are not conspiracy theories. These are realistic facts that we are, and I hate to say it like this, but America as we know it is hanging on by a theoretical thread.
Yeah.
And it could be cut at any moment. If our market collapsed, like I said, look what people did for the flu. They bugged out. Look what happened. One bank collapsed, right? Now they want to move everything over to digital currency by July.
Right.
Now they want to get rid of paper money. Now they want to do all this other stuff. And we continue to give them freedoms. I said this a couple of weeks ago. Where is your line in the sand? Where do you draw your line? And when do you decide that your line has been crossed? My line was 3 years ago, and my line has not moved since. I know a lot of people are allowing them to continue to push the goalpost, but you have to decide where is your line, right? I think you're a couple more countries from deciding. Like, I'm not really 100% sure if the EU, I think they're probably using the pound. I don't think they use the dollar, right?
The EU?
Yeah.
The EU uses the euro.
Right. So we're not really concerned about them because they're already doing their own thing.
Right.
But how many other countries? Like, what if, I don't even know who still uses our dollar, but these big countries all going together, what happens if these other countries decide to go for there? What do we do?
This is what I think's gonna happen though, because like even Europe, like not that you mentioned the euro. The euro is basically Germany, man. Like everyone in Europe, damn near, is living off of Germany, right? Greece can't pay off their bills, so they're bailing out. Remember, Greece almost completely imploded back in like
True story.
2018.
I was
think
there
it
in
was?
2020, and I was actually completely shocked at the amount of abandoned buildings and graffiti.
Yeah, dude.
It was like ancient Harlem.
Ancient Harlem,
Bro, I shit you not. I was in there, bro. You think I'm kidding?
Yo.
You're like, bro, I swear to God, you're like, oh my God, look, it's the statue of Zeus
Someone
and the
spray paints-
Parthenon, and then there's like spray painted graffiti and homeless dogs everywhere.
Oh my God.
And people sleeping. Like, I was like, what happened? And they're like, we had a recession and it never recovered.
Yeah.
And like the only islands that are still doing good are like Santorini and all these other ones that people go and they party and they spend American dollars at. But the economy over there was so poor. Like, you go out and have dinner for like $10 for like 2 people.
Oh wow.
Great. It was great for me. Horrible for the people that live that way.
Yeah.
And again, we go, oh, it's Greece. Greece is thousands of years old.
Right.
And they failed. What do you think a country that's only 300 years could do?
That's what I'm saying, man. And now most of the world is dependent on the United States in the same way all of Europe is dependent on Germany.
Well, because if America falls, I believe the world falls.
Right. And I think that's the game plan at the end of the day. Because if they can kind of get them all to fall at once, then
Because NATO is basically like one big brother and a bunch of like babies, right? America's the big brother, right? Somebody picks on the little brother and America shows up. What happens when America doesn't show up anymore? All the other little baby lambs are headed to the slaughterhouse, right? Russia, China, North Korea, they can do whatever they want because who's coming to defend them? France? We know that. They're not coming for you.
they're eating baguettes right now.
No, they literally were mid-bite or mid-puff on a cigarette.
I'm
one
sorry,
of those,
my friend.
they were
You're
like,
on your own.
I will not join your fight. Viva la resistance. No. Their resistance is to freedom. But I'm afraid. I'm afraid. And again, it's a legitimate fear. And if you're not afraid, if you're not stocking up, if you're not getting yourself ready.
Yo, Juan, next story. Like we've been on this story for quite some time. Yeah, sorry, but we kind of went on a little bit of a tangent, bro. But
I was just letting it happen.
No, because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
we
what?
gotta
Because
say the schedule still.
people need to know about this stuff. It's real. People need to know about this.
yeah.
So here's another distraction.
Right, especially not. I wouldn't even say distraction because, like, I think this kind of ties in with what's going on with the CBDG because the founder of Cash App was just found stabbed up in his apartment building in San Francisco. You know how San Francisco's gotten it these days, but
Wonderful place.
beautiful bums pissing in the hallway everywhere. But the thing that's annoying, the thing that's crazy about this is this guy that ran Cash App, there was a lot of things you could do with Cash App that made it great. It was a middleman to banks. He didn't necessarily
You
need.
could buy drugs.
Well, that's what people were probably doing with it. I wouldn't doubt it. But the fact that you
I
can
wouldn't know
buy
anything about that.
by the fact he's a changed man.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
You were able to purchase Bitcoin directly
Right.
from Cash App. You know, it was a very simple and accessible bank. And I think if I'm going to try and bring about some kind of world reserve currency, you got to get out of the way, right? Especially when people have the ability to do these kind of transactions. And to make matters worse, within the past couple of months, several founders of multiple different cryptocurrencies that seemed quite promising have just been killed off. And I'm seeing them start to disappear. Some of them are just dying. Some of their projects are just randomly
So
failing.
strange.
Right. But as they're saying, oh, the CBDG is going to be super secure. It's going to be ISO 2022 compliant or whatever it is. And it's all going to be great, right? I call nonsense on that. But it's sad what happened to this guy. Rest in peace. But I don't think this guy was just randomly killed because some homeless person just broke into us. You know who he was. You knew whose house he was. And that's why you went in there and
almost
killed him.
as believable as Paul Pelosi had a naked dude with a hammer break into his
While
house.
he's holding a glass of whatever.
And
the hell
then he
was
opens the
drinking.
door. Hello.
Hey, we're just, hanging out.
Smacked.
Right. Like, nah, that's crazy. man.
Well, yeah, that's definitely – it's going to lead up into what we're continuing to talk about here. So again, right, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all these things that you used to be able to, like, if Billy, I needed some money, Billy send it to me, and nobody knew anything about it. And then rolls in the Biden administration where we're going to hire 80,000 new IRS, and for the record, it's $80 billion over the next decade. So that's $8 billion a year for anybody in IRS
God.
agents. So the director of the IRS said that the average taxpayers should not be worried about audits
Yeah, we
as the
shouldn't.
agency grows. Right? Ronald Reagan said the 9 scariest words in the American language were, I'm with the government and I'm here to help. So when the IRS comes online and sits on Capitol Hill and tells me, the average American, that I shouldn't be concerned about the IRS doing audits, I know he's full of crap. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
I'm not buying a single red cent about that. Right? The IRS is the only place. Your taxes are due. Okay, how much do I owe? Oh, you need to figure that out on your own. Well, what if I get it wrong? Oh, well, then you go to jail for a long time. Like, they want you to fail. This is literally an agency that wants to just take your money. That's literally their only designation, right? Again, we go back to that statement 30 minutes ago where we talked about Americans having freedom. This is the exact opposite of freedom. So now we're going to be moving to a digital currency. Every country's moving away from the American dollar. People that were making apps that made it easy for you to send money start disappearing. And now, bam, here comes 80,000 IRS agents to monitor everything you do. You think that you're not getting audited? You don't think that this is building up to what I believe? And again, mark my words now, I've been saying this, but when it happens in 2 years, I don't want to be called a conspiracy theory. Remember this, that a social credit score is on the way here for America.
Yeah.
We think it's crazy and it's some China fairy tale that happens only over there.
already here.
It's coming to a country near you, and we're next.
You know, there's a lot of things that I really want to say on air, but it's like I know I can't say some of these things because it wouldn't fly. You know what I mean? The YouTube would probably be banned at this
We
point.
already said hydrochloroquine. We're off.
You said it a second time, so there we go.
I was just making sure, so now you're free.
Yeah, there you go. It's too
You're
late.
free, Billy. Go.
It was
Okay.
probably not pronounced the first time. Now you just pronounced
no,
it
no.
correct.
Believe, Billy. Believe in the
Now they got the
butterflies.
subtitles. Now they got the subtitles. They know exactly what was said. But I had a actually, you know what? I will say this.
Do it.
I had a conversation with one of my friends earlier today, and I was talking about if you were to go back in time, and we've had this analogy before. It's like you go back in time. It's like, right, these guys started a Revolutionary War for tea, right?
Taxes on tea.
Taxes on tea, right? Because they love their tea so much, and they went to war for tea,
Crazy.
right?
What was the principle of
I know,
taxes?
I know.
Because people are going to be
I
like,
know, I know.
there's that guy, Ken Paulman, that's like,
That's not
"Ah,
true. It's
This is
actually more
ridiculous.
complicated.
Yeah, I fucking shout out.
But what I'm saying is like those guys shot people to take their country back, right? America, and what I was telling them today was like America is in desperate need of a revolution right now, right? And some people are afraid to say that. It's in desperate need of a revolution. The thing about America in 2023 is America has gotten so sophisticated that a revolution can happen without a single bullet being shot. The problem is the people that can do that revolution are fucking cowards. I'll give you an example. And I was talking with my friend about this. I was like, in New Jersey, Governor Murphy sent sick patients into the nursing homes, which led to even more deaths during the shutdowns, right?
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Absolutely did. Right?
I was just fact checking you.
The guy is responsible for the death of several people.
Yep.
Right? What is stopping, say, head general of the New Jersey State National Guard from saying, you just killed our own people. You committed a crime against our own people. We are directly under your leadership, and you got people killed. We're taking you in right now. Now, you think of all the other scenarios like that have happened across the country, right? Like, for example, what is stopping a police chief that knows that their mayor's corrupt, that knows they're doing crime, that knows they're doing all these things? Well, I got to follow orders. No. You're following orders. At the end of the day, to the best of my knowledge, your job is to uphold the United States Constitution and defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And if someone who's supposed to be an elected official, who was elected by the people, by the power of the United States Constitution, is going against that, you're not upholding your oath to actually hold these criminals accountable. So it literally, things could change literally overnight. If everybody just woke up and said, you know what, these people are crooks, we're taking them in. What are you going to do? Get the army from another state to come and invade New Jersey and do that? What is stopping? There's nothing stopping any of these people from doing this, right? Oh, well, it's a case. It's a threat to our democracy. there is no democracy right now, right?
I hate that word, by the way.
Because we're not a democracy. We're a
We're a
republic.
constitutional republic.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. I'm not. We're not.
No, I know. I'm just saying it to the
Constitutional republic.
people are like we're not a democracy. But as you're saying that, I don't know if you could tell like how tense it's making me because
Yeah.
I know, right? And it's very troublesome that right. There's things I want to say too.
I know.
It's very hard to see people put pensions over people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really what it
Yes.
boils down to.
Yeah, that's
right?
actually
I
that-
ran
that's
an
actually the
entire
best
I ran an entire
thing ever you
campaign
said.
about people over politics. People over politics. People over party. And I
Yeah.
believe that shit, right? Because I don't give a fuck about the Republican Party, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll run as a Republican, but I care about people.
Right.
I don't give a shit how
Exactly.
you identify.
That's why I'm doing this.
But we have watched time and time again, right? Like I'm a big fan of the police, right? At least I was.
Right.
Still love them. Great guys. But how many Back to Blue rallies you've been to, I've been to, waving the flag with the blue lines, right? All that stuff, we showed up. And you know what? The minute you get into some stuff where they have to choose what fucking side they want to be on,
They're gonna
they
be on that
choose the
side.
side that pays their pension,
Right.
right?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The same people that, like, when people were protesting outside Phil Murphy's house and he was ready to defund the police, and then he had police standing in front of his
They
house
still
arresting
did it.
conservatives, and the people were there like, yo, we got your back, and they would literally just,
Nope.
because you know what? Look, I get it, man. You've got kids to feed. You've got a family. But again, something that should be superseding all of that is what Billy just said. You swore an oath to the Constitution to
Right.
defend it from people, both foreign and domestic.
Right.
Right? We can't continue to, again, why has Fauci not been brought up against crimes against humanity yet? Phil Murphy, how many dead whales do we need on the shores of New Jersey before somebody says something? The COVID nursing patients, right? We all forgot that Cuomo just, they literally.
Cuomo too.
We
That's
forgot
another
about
one. He
Cuomo.
slipped under the rug. That
Right.
guy.
Come
He
on,
slipped
bro.
Under the rug.
They
That's a
literally
good
they
point.
brought out some girl that was like, he touched me on my shoulder, and they were like,
Just
rapist,
scooted-
and they scooted him out because he killed grandma, and he wouldn't let you go visit her before she died,
Unreal, man.
and he knew what he was doing, and nobody cares because you know what? At the end of the day, money fucking talks. But that goes back to what we just said. What happens when the money's worth shit?
These people are.
No, but that's a real question. So for all of my fellow armed forces, police, you know, these elected officials that are doing what they believe is right because they know, and they'll pull you on the side too, right? I had a conversation with Ian Smith, right? And I asked him because I was going through some shit, and I'm like, how do you do it? He goes, bro, do you know how many fucking cops came up to me outside the Belmar gym, and we're like, bro, we fucking love what you're doing. He's like, well, then stand with me, and they were like, oh, bro, oh,
Right?
I got a job, man, I got bills, and he loves to say it. No one is coming to save you.
Right. It's true.
No one is coming to save you. But what happens to those guys and girls that are doing this all for that pension to protect their family? What happens when the pensions aren't worth shit? What
There
happens
isn't
when
gonna
the
be a
Social
pension.
Security dries up and the dollar isn't worth anything? What side of history are you going to end up on?
I think they kind of know what side they're going to be on.
And they're okay with that, you think?
I don't think they're okay with it. The thing is, this is what I mean about cowardice, right? You can be the most hardcore, most gung-ho military, army, police guy, whatever. But if you're not willing to stand up against even unlawful orders or orders that you know for a fact are a direct threat to the American people, you're a coward, bro. You're a coward. You're a punk. I don't care how many bodies you got in Afghanistan. You're a coward. If you allow that to happen to the people that you're supposed to be protecting, you are a coward.
Yes and no.
Yes. No,
No,
you're
and
a coward.
I
wanna
wanna piggyback
because,
on that.
Because you know why I
Go
say
ahead.
that? You know why I say you're a coward? And this is not to diminish any military member's service or anything for what they've done. But what I'm saying is, like, if you could go to Afghanistan and kill someone on the other side of the world that you do not know and fight for fucking Halliburton and Lockheed Martin and all these fucking military contractors, and our government does this to us and you can't even stand up against them, you're a coward. You literally got up, got on a plane, went to the other side of the world and killed a fucking stranger. But you won't go and arrest the people that are holding us accountable.
You forgot.
the people that are screwing
you forgot
us.
an important part. In the name of freedom.
In the name of freedom, while freedom is being taken from us.
In the name of freedom.
So it's
Isn't that
like-
crazy?
That's why That's why I believe, like, if you are military, if you are a police officer, if you swore an oath to defend our country, like I've sworn an oath to defend our country, do not sit there and allow this kind of crap to happen to our country because you're dependent on a pension or you want to retire and you want to have some funds. That money's not going to mean anything if the economy collapses, if our country falls apart, and you did nothing to protect it.
Yeah.
If you did nothing to protect, I was doing it for my kids. Your kids don't have a country.
Your kids won't have a future.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
So you do what you swore to do, which is defend the country,
Yeah.
defend the people, defend the Constitution.
Yeah. And you know what? People like to say that slavery ended a long time ago, but all that happened was it was adopted into a new form.
That's it.
We're slaves to the almighty dollar. It's a fact. Think about it. You know what I mean? How many of these guys know what they're doing? And I'm really not shitting on the police, right? I'm not. But this isn't just police. This is politicians. This is doctors that were forced to give an experimental jab because they would lose their job, their pension. How many people were put in a situation where they had to choose what was right between what paid their bills, and what paid their bills won every single time?
Right.
I don't want to live in a country like that. I mean, I get it. We need money. You need to be able to survive and do those things. But where is your line in the sand? Mine was drawn 3 years ago. Where's your line?
Right here.
Speaking of spending some of that almighty dollar, good segue there.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please, you can support our campaign. Why can't I still think I'm
We
running
both
right
got
now.
campaigns coming. They just don't know it yet.
This has nothing to do with the campaign, though. You go to revive-usa.com. You can get some nice,
You're going to get
awesome
35 counts of fucking illegally using campaign funds.
merch. Right.
He used Revive America
They're gonna
t-shirt,
They're gonna
buddy.
do me like they did Trump.
Oh, boy.
You go to revive-usa.com. You can purchase some merch. Support our podcast.
I want
support
that
our movement.
hat.
What, the AR-15 hat?
Yeah, I want that
Well,
one.
if you're gonna get the AR-15 hat, you might as well get the come and take it hat right there.
Yeah.
Or even-
Can I get that? Do I got to order it? Or
you
can I
can-
just talk to you?
You can order it.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's gonna go to the podcast. It doesn't make a difference. But yeah. All right. Also, guys, subscribe to Rumble if you haven't done so yet.
At Revive US America.
Yes, rumble.com/Revive US America. Check us out, ladies.
I'm
and
still
gentlemen.
offering $1 for every subscriber up to 25.
And they're missing it out. They're missing out.
Well, I owe $8, but I don't know who followed us yet.
Well, you guys got to claim it. You got to claim it somewhere.
So we were talking about China. We were talking about India. We were talking about Brazil. We talked about Iran. But we did not talk about Japan has officially broken with U.S. allies to buy oil above cap price, which basically means they're so fed up with the BS here that they're willing to pay more money for oil.
That's crazy right there, man. So, but you know also what I think. You know what I think this is also doing more so as well too. Oh no, that's right. He was killed. Never mind.
They killed that guy.
Shinzo Abe was killed.
They killed him.
I was gonna say I think this is like a protest move against Joe Biden because he was a very good friend of Donald Trump.
And then they killed him.
Yeah, but then they killed him. I forgot he was killed. Shit.
So,
Rest in
again,
peace, Shinzo Abe.
Japan's still clearly not over what happened at the end of World War II.
Probably not.
They're like,
this is our revenge.
That was a
Fuck you."
long-term revenge, like 75 years. Like, just when we'll get you.
Perfect timing.
You son of a bitch.
We will spend more money to say
Yeah.
fuck you.
That's
Biden.
crazy. So, again, now we've added Japan to the fold. That's 7 countries now who have realized they don't need the United States.
Right, and it's not like this is like Kazakhstan or like some random country in the middle of
You will never get this.
landlocked-
La, 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 la. That's what they're saying to us
countries
about
with
their
money that
dollars.
don't want to deal with us.
Oh, boy.
Ugh,
Speaking of,
this
I'm going to let you take this one because you get fired up about this one.
this thing.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna try not to get too fired up on this. So first off,
Yeah, okay.
Bud Light tastes like crap. Bud Light
Shit.
Bud Light tastes like crap. I'm not a fan of Bud Light anyway. But Bud Light thought it was a good idea for whatever reason. And it's not just Bud Light, but several of these companies are trying to shove this thing down our face.
Hey, yo.
You know what I mean?
I mean, come on,
Not
bro.
that- I know.
Where's the damn son?
Well, no, the wrong choice of words. But they're trying to shove this person in our face. And this Dylan Mulvaney guy, he is now the brand ambassador for not just Bud Light, but several other companies. And everyone's
Well, Anheuser-Busch.
Anheuser-Busch, but not just Anheuser-Busch, but Anheuser-Busch, Kate Spade, a bunch of other companies are making this guy their ambassador. They're really trying to shove this wristbender crap inside of our face. The wristbender mafia is trying to make us all
just
like
got that
accept
one.
it. What, the wristbender mafia? We've been saying that since last episode.
I
Yeah.
wasn't here.
Yeah, you missed out. The wristbender mafia.
Damn, son.
Oh, there he is with the button.
Right, a bit late there, pal. But
It was meant to be like that.
they're
Bro,
making this guy. They're making this guy the forefront of all of their drinks. Tastes like crap, and it seems as if that Bud Light is not aware of who their target base is, because they thought that, hey, you know what? We'll put this random tranny guy in front of our masses, people that typically
You know, the NASCAR watching, dip spitting,
Right.
blue collar
what the
Americans.
fuck is this on my can?
Yeah, those kind of people, like, right? This isn't like, you know, White Claw or Truly or something that, you know.
Right, I could believe it if that was done.
Right,
You know what I
whatever.
mean?
Smirnoffs,
Smirnoff, yeah.
Zimas,
Zimas.
und Becks.
Mm.
You got the beer press reference on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Billy has an idea about we talked about this. So I want you to explain your thought process behind this, because we talked about this on the phone, and then I'm going to explain why I agree with what you're saying, and then I also disagree with what people are doing.
We can actually when we get to the sheep segment, because there's another one we got.
All right.
About,
So Bud Light,
we're
we're going to keep going then.
Yeah.
Are we at Sheep of the Week?
No, we are not at sheep.
Oh, we're going to get to Sheep of the Week.
This is,
Don't worry.
I want you to go through with this one. 'Cause we were talking about
Can I
this.
get a damn son before I even start?
Damn, son.
Okay. So the Broad, this is from, this is actually an independent journalist, right? The Electronic Frontier Foundation. The title says, "The Broad, Vague, Restrict Act is a dangerous substitute for comprehensive data privacy legislation." Right? That's a lot of words. All right, so I'm going to break it down because I read this article.
Unpack it.
I'm going to unpack this. So, as some of you might be familiar with, TikTok CEO, I believe, was on Capitol Hill last week talking about how, you know, China's not looking into your stuff and everybody's
He doesn't
safe.
even let his own kids use TikTok.
That's wild. But, you know, so basically they created this, what they wanted to call it was this Restrict Act, right? So the Restrict Act is rightfully causing a lot of concern. This bill is being called the TikTok ban. But it's more complicated than that. As they wrote in the initial review of the bill, the Restrict Act would authorize the executive branch to block transactions and holdings of foreign adversaries that involve information and communicating technology and create undue or unacceptable risk to national security. So now when you go back to the title and it talks about how vague this is, right? What does this actually mean? I'm going to break it down for you. This bill does not actually restrict TikTok usage. You're going to be able to use TikTok. What it does is it gives legislators the ability to look at everything that you are posting on social media and determine whether or not they believe that this is a foreign adversary or not, whether or not you have completed any kind of transactions or information sharing or technology sharing that they consider to be undue or unacceptable risk to national security. Here's the kicker. Do you know who decides what's an unacceptable risk for foreign adversaries? The Biden administration and those legislators. So when you unpack this, it basically determines, like for an example here, Billy's very outspoken about Zelensky. You do the impression.
More money.
More money. He doesn't like him. Cool. But now, the way that this legislation has been worded, it could now be looking through Billy's social media and be like, whoa, this guy's really anti-Ukraine, which means he's pro-Russia, which means you are now going to be helping foreign adversaries by sharing information and communication technology, which, by the way, folks, in this bill, the Restrict Act, would be able to imprison you for up to 20 years for sharing your thoughts
Let's go to the
online.
gulag, baby. I'll die on this hill. Fuck Ukraine.
So-
fuck Zelensky, I should say. The people, they don't deserve that.
Right.
Zelensky, fuck you.
Right.
I'll
So-
die on that hill.
So basically, while everybody thought that they were going to try to make TikTok safer and they were going to try to do all this stuff to keep China out, all this bill did was allow American government to join in on the fucking spy campaign with China.
Right. So
Are y'all waking up yet?
let me get this.
Oh my God.
So let me get this straight, because even as we're on this podcast right now, it's happening, right? Our podcast is being significantly censored.
I mean, Billy's got 50,000 followers. I saw your live. It's got like 7 views.
it's 2 people
Crazy.
out of 50,000 people.
They're all
Facebook page,
they're all rioting and protesting.
thousands of people on my Facebook page, like 2-3 people watching it. Several. It's all across the board. So it's like they're restricting the information as it comes out, which is
And it's crazy because, Paul, and I'm going to let you
No,
finish,
go ahead.
but I've seen Billy's lives, like, during your campaign, and I remember
Yeah.
watching one live. It had 70,000 fucking people
Yeah.
watching it. 70,000 views on this video. I was like, God God damn. And you got 2
Yeah.
people watching you on Instagram.
That's why I'm like, it's like you're definitely being censored at some point. And it's like when
100%.
people are like, oh, there's no such thing as shadow ban. Well, maybe it's the content that you're posting. Maybe it's I post the exact same content. I say the exact same things. And as I noticed that when crazy things start to happen, like for example, if you remember, like around the time of January 6th, a lot of the people that were there in DC couldn't even live stream what was happening. Right, and this was even news agencies, people like Newsmax that were on the ground that had like the live view, live stream systems and whatever. Many of them could not even get the message out, and even if they could, less than 2 or 3 people would even see it. We're talking pages with hundreds of thousands of people that follow them, getting absolutely no reach. Right, so now if they can say that you're a criminal and you're a bad guy and lock you up and put you away for 25 years. I would not be surprised if any one of them pulled the trigger, and they'll have the whole media painting you like you're a demon, like they did to the Q Shaman guy.
And also, for those of you that don't believe this is possible, again, these are the same companies that are now letting you pay to be verified.
Right. And they made billions of dollars doing that.
How many
which is crazy.
clowns? How many clowns? Like, I thought about it for like 0.2 seconds. I was like, no.
Everybody's gonna have it.
That's
People's
ridiculous.
Imagine somebody's grandfather's like, yo, I'm
verified. He's got 4 followers.
Right, you verify.
He posts picture of his lunch.
Right? I'm like, what do you verify for?
He's got that old man photo that just shows the chin like
right?
this. Like, he's
On
verified.
the couch.
You know what? We should all be verified. But then again, that's not what the point of being verified was.
Right.
But all this Restrict Act, and you can read it up on your own because it's a pretty long bill, but the Spark Notes version was that, well, we thought they were bringing TikTok in to question them about how they were spying on America. All they wanted to do was find out how they could join in on the fun.
See?
That was good.
I think that was good. You got that one.
Oh, no.
So
You thought we forgot about you, Ohio, but we didn't.
we have not forgot about Ohio. In fact,
We're not the Department of Transportation.
this upcoming Saturday, actually tomorrow, me and Jasmine and another guy, Bart. I don't think you've met Bart before, but the 3 of us were actually heading out to Ohio, to Palestine.
You driving?
We're heading down to Ohio.
You driving?
That was a perfect time for that song, but yeah, we're driving. We're driving to Ohio to actually investigate this. There's several people out there that we're going to be interviewing and speaking with about what's going on in their community.
Sure.
But apparently it's getting a hell of a lot worse. And the Department of Justice has just decided to sue the Norfolk Southern Railroad for the disaster that happened in East Palestine. Will they actually pay up? That's what I want to know. And in all honesty,
Hush money.
that train company, I believe, in my opinion, they need to not only clean up, they need to repair that rail line, and they need to go defunct. It needs to be a completely different company that takes over that line at this point, because what the fuck were you doing? You know, that's a tremendous disaster. And the thing that's even crazier than that is the fact that the officials thought it was a good idea to burn this stuff, man. To burn that. Now it's
the same people that screamed at you to trust the science didn't know that science would tell you that burning that turned it into a more deadly chemical.
Oh my God.
Trust the science, but trust us. We don't know the science. We're just going to burn this and turn it into hydrochloric acid. What? Trust us. We're professionals.
So we're going to be releasing like a short mini documentary about what we find in East Palestine, what we investigate and what we uncover.
I look forward to that.
Yeah. So we've been hearing from people that are, developing rashes, respiratory issues. People are just straight up fainting in the middle of the street, all kinds of crazy stuff. And they're saying that this is supposedly going to get cleaned up in the next 3 months, as of 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't see that happening.
It's screwed up because I was going to go to Lost Lands again this year. It's a music festival out in Ohio, and
That's not happening.
I was like, it's still apparently on, and they put out this whole press release like everything's going to be fine, and I'm
How
like,
about no?
I'm like, nah, I'll just watch it on the live stream. I'll stay here. But our hearts go out to the people of Ohio. Why haven't they been helped is a whole nother question that you guys again should be taking this up. You guys should be at Capitol Hill. You guys should be wherever.
We know exactly why they're not doing it. Like I think Biden has a vested interest in doing the bidding of the Chinese government and allowing our country to fail, because I can't think of any rational reason why any leader would allow this to happen. You wouldn't allow this to happen to your kids if you're a parent. No. Why would you allow it to happen to your country?
But then this comes up with, and I know we're seeing like sparks and flares here and there, but where the hell are the GOP of the 118th Congress? Where are they? Because I know for a fact, if you and Mayfield were up there, bro, you guys would be flaming people.
Oh, yeah.
Like they would be trying to kick you guys out.
Oh, yeah.
You would be out there going in, maybe you wouldn't be able to get anything done if it was just the two of you, but you would be making noise. I'm not hearing shit out of these people.
Right.
They were all with Trump and Mar-a-Lago
Well, I got
for his
to ensure
speech.
my reelection. That's
They were
why.
making sure they're getting reelected. Bro, you know who's Madison Cawthorn is saying more, and that dude got no legs.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's not even in Congress anymore. But where are these Congress, these quote America First Republicans that were supposed to be fighting for us? And it again, you want to know why people don't want to go out and vote? You want to know why 33% of Republicans voted nationwide? It's because we elect you,
Right.
and you do this,
Right.
which is nothing.
Right. Right.
Maybe it's time to elect some foul-mouthed people from the street that don't give a shit about what party you're from or what you want to identify as. We just want to do what's right for you. Because I can guarantee you, if Billy was in Congress or if I was in Congress with him, we would be out there making sure this shit was happening.
They'd probably vote me out. They'd probably say, you know, we got to get rid of this guy. He's trying to stop our
No,
agenda.
they would.
He's trying to stop
You
our
would have
corruption."
suicided yourself by now, Billy.
I mean, listen. That's if they can get me to do it.
I wouldn't mess with Billy.
That's if he can get me to do it.
Well, hopefully we have some good news coming up. But now it
We
is
do have
time.
good news. Well, not good news, but we have a nice little funny
I see
jibble.
you've changed the sheep of the week.
Yeah, this is
Play
the
it.
sheep
I
of the
want to
week.
see it. I haven't seen it.
Sheep of the week, yeah.
Oh shit! Did Juan make this?
I made that beat.
Is that you saying sheep of the week? Yeah,
that's me
Yo,
saying
that's
sheep of the week.
lit.
Sheep of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, that is dope. Yo,
This-
give me some on that. That's dope.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That's
bro.
dope.
I make beats. I make beats. I make beats. You know what I mean?
All right, go ahead. Let's take it. This is
heartbreaking
Billy.
for me. This is heartbreaking for me because for those of you guys that know me, know that I like Jack Daniels. I like the brand, the look of it, everything about Jack Daniels. I thought it was freaking cool.
I don't like Jack Daniels.
That's fine because I don't like Jack Daniels anymore either.
I know.
Because Jack Daniels,
Billy used to come to my bar, Double Jack and Coke. That's his drink.
That's it, man.
That's
and you
his
know
drink.
what? Jack Daniels has succumbed to the wristbender mafia, and I'm actually pretty upset about that because and apparently this was a campaign that came out a while ago, and it's only resurfacing now because I didn't know about this damn campaign. Like, what the hell are they doing right now? But Jack Daniels is they did an advertisement for their Whiskey Fire or their Jack Daniels Fire, which tastes like crap anyway. I'm not a fan of that one, and that's probably why the wristbenders are drinking it. But they made the
Hey, I like Jack Fire.
I don't like Jack Fire. I'm not a fan of that
It's
one.
like a better version of Fireball.
I like the
You don't like
straight,
Cinnamon Toast
I
Crunch
like
Shots?
the regular old Jack Daniels that most people can't deal with, the one that tastes like gasoline.
It's bad.
I like it. It makes me feel like a man. But now I feel like I'm gonna turn into something else if I drink that thing anymore.
But maybe that's why trans people are drinking it, because it makes them feel more like a man.
I'm trying.
You know, I might be onto something.
Oh man.
Anyway.
But Jack Daniels, I don't know what the hell your problem is or what you guys thought about that, but I think you guys are fools. First off, you were asking something earlier about the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing, and what my whole point is like. Many people, like you said, it's like, you know, we get our thoughts focused on what many people would say is insignificant. Like, oh, somebody wants to go and be a wristbender. You know, who cares? It is what it is. They can, you know, live their life, and I'm totally fine with that. Fine, you can go and live your life. The problem that I've got with that is that when it's being forced in people's faces like this, for example, Anheuser-Busch, they know that's not their demographic. Jack Daniels, they know that it's not their demographic, right? Someone told them to do that. And the same way we were talking about the how BlackRock and Vanguard own just about every single company inside of the world, I'm pretty sure that even if when they lose their money and their stocks start going down, there's someone behind the scenes padding that. And organizations that have large, massive followings and large groups of people that look at them, they're going to use them to push these kinds of agendas. So even when we say that these things don't matter and it's not a big deal and we don't care, this is what leads to the deterioration of society. When we start to promote debauchery and crap like this, we end up like the Greeks. We end up like the Romans. When debauchery became the #1 priority for the entire country, or was put in front of everybody's
Sodom and
faces,
Gomorrah.
it was and that's even in the Bible, right? It was like, oh, I'm not biblical. Doesn't matter. If you're not biblical, let's talk about Greece and Rome. The Persian Empire. It all fell from this kind of debaucherous crap. And now it's being forced in our face as if they are 38 to 45% of the population. Black people are 13% of the American population, and they're nowhere near as represented as they're pushing the LGBT community right now.
Y'all get 1 month. The short month.
Right?
That's
the
racist
shortest
in
month.
itself.
I just thought about that.
It's so
The shortest-
racist.
Damn,
I
son.
just thought about that. Pride Month is fun. I'm not even going to call it Pride Month. Their month is their month is much
Yeah,
longer.
but it's not even just a month anymore. Yeah, they do have a month, but
Yeah,
it's
Pride
but
year.
It's all over.
It's Pride year, bro.
Yeah.
Pride year.
Yeah.
And they want to teach this kind of crap. They want to infiltrate every single part of society because it's like when ISIS went to, right? Yes, and I'm comparing them to ISIS, and I'll tell you why. Remember when ISIS, when they would storm into a country, you remember what the first thing they would do, ISIS?
They would kill somebody and behead them.
Well, not just that,
Oh,
but I'm talking like on a much more larger scale. On a much more larger scale, what ISIS would do is that they would destroy all the archaeological sites and historical sites. If you remember, when they were in Egypt for quite a while, they were blowing up pyramids, they were blowing up statues, they were blowing up mosques, they were blowing up churches, they were blowing up all these things that had significant value, right? And you're like, well, why? And I remember I was getting mad, like, why the hell are they this is history right here, right? Because it's an attack on the human psyche, right? It's an attack on the human mind. If I could destroy your culture, that hurts. You have no identity because we're taking over your country right now. Right? Everything that you knew that was good, all your favorite superheroes, all your favorite television shows, all your favorite drinks, all your favorite video games, all your favorite everything, I'm going to corrupt and destroy it, and you're going to watch me do it. And if you shut up, you say nothing about it, you succumb to it. You allow it to happen. Now it expands, and now it's taking over you. Now it's taking over every part of your society, and now it's normalized. And not only is it normalized, you don't have the will to fight. You don't have the will to fight. It's only a matter of time before somebody else comes in and takes you out. And that's exactly what the communist Chinese have been planning for a very, very long time. Yeah. If we can infiltrate the West with Marxist ideology, we can promote debauchery, we can promote all the scumbaggery, and get the American people to the point where they don't care to even fight it or even think that it's a big deal, and they just let that kind of stuff slide. We'll be able to allow them to destroy themselves from within because we're not going to beat them with an invasion.
No.
So when
you let them kill each other.
Right. So when I see stuff like this, which should typically be looked at as, you know, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's a tremendous deal because the next generation that's growing up, these children are growing up into this life. And when it's being forced on them, these are the ones, like, I saw a meme. I saw a meme earlier that said, like, it said, like, that the kid that's going to be your doctor is vaping and twerking on TikTok right now.
It's true.
Which is funny. But it's true.
Yeah.
Right? That kid is supposed to carry the torch. We're not even carrying the torch.
Yeah. No.
That was not like some coincidence. You look at any other point in history, America was always about grit, struggle, perseverance, fighting, taking things to the next level, being the best. Now it's about how oppressed we are because we're so terrible. And if you can get into the mind of these people to destroy themselves while being accepting for a bunch of irrational shit, while destroying your own singular identity within the United States, destroying that idea of being an American, that idea of everyone being one, if I can destroy that and individualize everyone into their own little brackets and make everybody feel special, you guys ain't gonna unify.
You know what? And you want to know the thing is, and we missed it with the Budweiser thing. It was actually to celebrate his 1 year of being a woman. Budweiser did that. I understand, but it was to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the transition.
Yeah.
which is crazy. But I actually saw another video. It was in the group chat. It was in the Revive chat. It was a show in Europe, and they had like 6 or 7. I don't know if you saw the video.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 6 or 7 kids
Yeah, I
sitting
saw
on
it.
stage, and they brought out like 4 or 5 transitioned men and women.
Butt naked.
And they got butt naked in front of these kids, like a girl who had the mastectomy and her breasts removed, a guy who had his thing removed, and they made the kids watch it. And you could see the kids' faces, like, and this is what they said. And they were like, and the commentator that was editing the video,
It seems
like,
all normal.
I don't care if you call me crazy for saying this. He goes, but look at the kids' faces now. And they even said, they're like, this is weird. And at the end, they're like, but I can understand, right? So it is like you're saying about normalizing it, right? Like getting used to it, right? Like the same way that they used to say video games desensitize kids to violence.
Right.
Right now, you're desensitizing kids to sexual abuse. Because, again, I don't give a shit, man. If you're 18, 19, 20, and you want to be a part of this, do whatever. Listen, I'm a sexually active person. I don't talk about it with other
Nobody
people.
needs to know.
That's my bedroom
Right.
privacy, what I do.
Right.
It's nobody's business, right? Again, if I was rubbing it in people's faces how heterosexual I was and how much I loved boobies,
No, straight
you
I
would
am.
be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
Right.
Like, if I spent a whole month talking about how much I just loved women, I loved them. And I do. I love women. But again, that would be, you'd be like, dude, nobody cares. It's and again, that's the same way I feel. I don't care. You like men, you like women, you like people that don't identify as whatever. Fine. Go do it in your
Leave me
bedroom.
alone. The
Stop
world doesn't need to
talking
know.
about it.
But
You know,
my
it's kind of like the
identity.
same thing. Like you know when like you finally got old enough to realize like your parents had to have sex to have you, and
Yeah.
it you're like, oh
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
no! Like I thought I was here from the stork. Like that's disgusting. What? You did that, Mom? Like you know, like you don't want to know that.
Right.
It's the same concept. And it goes another step farther, but this is what I was saying to Billy, and like I'm not disagreeing with what he had to say about how it is trying to desensitize. But I think for us, what is important is to stop breathing life into this and start to quietly work towards what you want to see. We're all mad. People are mad. I'm not mad because I don't care about Bud Light or whatever. Like, do your thing. Like, I got other shit. I got my own life that's fucking falling apart I need to worry about. I'm not worried about what Bud Light puts on their can. You know what I mean?
I don't drink that crap anyway.
Right? It's watered down garbage. But people are so focused on this that they have missed almost every other news article that we just fucking talked about on the show.
That's true.
They don't know that 6 major countries have ditched the U.S. dollar. They don't know the fact that they have quietly pushed this transgender manifesto under the table, and nobody knows why this transgender girl shot up 6 people at a Catholic school. They're not talking about the fact that Ohio has been abandoned for dead. They're not talking about the fact that the Chinese spy balloon was actually looking at over all of our shit. They're not talking about the fact that we're on the verge of an economic collapse, World War III, the fact that agricultural farms are being bought by China, Bill Gates owns the food supply, McDonald's is even closing shit down. Like, the list goes on and on. Joe Biden has a 28% approval rating, but you're concerned about the transgender on the Bud Light can.
Damn, son.
But that's what I'm saying, and I'm not here to like, if you're mad and you think it's affecting your children, fine, but there's so much shit out there that they're trying to make you really upset to detract you from. They just arrested a fucking president. Where's Bill Clinton? He got his dick sucked in the Oval Office. He literally got his dick sucked in the Oval Office. And the girl wrote a book about it. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. It's true. It's true. On fire. On fire.
But for real. JFK was fucking Marilyn Monroe. Nobody cared.
Right.
And then the CIA killed him and nobody cared. But you know what I'm saying? And y'all are concerned about the Bud Light can.
Yo. Facts though.
But they're concerned. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not disagreeing with what you're talking about with the agenda. But there's so much real shit happening in the world, and people are blind.
Absolutely. On that note, yeah, I do agree on that. On that angle.
Wake up.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you
Wake
on
up.
that. Yeah.
Wake up. I don't give a fuck what's on the can of Bud Light. Are you going to be able to take care of your family? Are you going to be able? Is there going to be a world? Who cares? You really think 20 years down the world we're living like Mad Max waiting for Joe Biden to open the vat for the water? We're going to like walk past a dusty 7-Eleven and be like, what is that on the Bud Light can? Like, no one's going to care. So we really need to start focusing our priorities. And I get because like Billy said, man, my grandma is 80-something years old. Love her to death. This ain't her fight no more.
Right.
My mom is almost 60 years old. This ain't her fight no more, as much as she might want it to be. This is our fight, and I don't mean it in a physical sense. We need to stand up for our values. Otherwise, like, bro, let's just move. Like, I'll move to fucking Iceland tomorrow, right?
Pretty sure Iceland's pretty lit, too.
Iceland's lit. You know, and nobody cared. I've been to Iceland, bro.
Oh,
It's
so now
fucking
you know.
dope. But wake up, man. Educate yourself. Pay attention. They've lied to you. They've coerced you. They've pushed you. They've made you afraid. They've separated you from your own. I have family I haven't seen since the pandemic because we have differentiating viewpoints. So when you don't want to talk about divisiveness, we need to understand, and I said that to that Antifa girl, bro, it ain't you versus me, it's us versus them. And once you wake up to that fact, you'll join us on Revive.
Absolutely. Wow. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Revive America. That was episode 13. Can we save America? And the truth is, we can only save America if you actually get off your ass and do it. Before we end off, guys.
Not at 8 o'clock on Thursday night because you need to be on your ass to watch this show.
Yeah.
But at 9,
get the game plan at 8
sharp,
p.m. Thursday.
Get out.
Yeah, 9 p.m. That's it. You get up and start telling your people. So, in fact, first thing you should do when you get off of this, go to www.revive-usa.com. Check out our website. Visit the shop. Subscribe to us on Rumble.
Follow him, some guy named Bill on Instagram.
And
man.
you follow him on Instagram at Not Your Typical Politician.
Not your topical politician.
Typical.
Typical
This time.
topical. Same thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
We love you guys.
Episode
We'll see you next
13.
week, man.
See you next Thursday,
Have a good
8
night.
p.m.
Dr. Juan.